What's going on, everyone? Today I want to talk a little bit about how to approach a judo match. Now, this is something I've been trying to figure out my whole judo career, and I've been competing since I was 5 years old. Spanning 3 decades, essentially. I'm 35 now. It's something that I couldn't quite put a finger on for the longest time. The way I approached the match was very intuitive and unconscious. So I wasn't capable of explaining it. And it wasn't until when my athletes started asking me, hey, what should I be doing out there? And I gave the answer like, just go out there, put your hands on and throw them. That I realized, man, maybe I don't really know. So I gave it some thought and I did some soul searching, and really trying to organize and be mindful of the way I'm doing judo. And I sort of have like a game plan now, and I am here to share that with you. First of all, that approach, the old school mentality of go out there, put your hands on and launch the person, that works for some people. You see people like Teddy Raniere, who's very good, but he's a freak. He's a monster, right? Things that he does in the judo match, there's no way that I can replicate it. And there's no way that you can replicate it either. So we have to be able to teach this system, these ideas, to everyone that does judo, so they know exactly where they are sort of in the process of the actual match, and they could tell themselves, oh, I recognize this, as opposed to just being a flurry of movement and just relying on their athleticism or their training, right? You have to be able to analytically think, be mindful and say, okay, here's what's going on. This is what I need to do, X, Y, and Z. There's a concept called SST, score, situation, and time. I learned this in my MBA class, and the professor said, hey, I was watching a girls' basketball game, and the coach kept saying SST, SST, and it means score, situation, and time. The score, yes, one score against no scores in judo. Time, yeah, time's going down. But the situation, okay, that's the mystery. How do you know what to do and when to do it? Okay, so here we go. Picture me as a right-sided athlete leading with my right leg, and you're standing directly in front of me leading with your right leg too. Now immediately I know that with your right leg forward, you're facing me with your right leg forward, you're gonna want to turn to this side. Okay? If you're standing with your left leg forward, you're gonna want to turn to that side. Right? Makes sense so far? So I identify the pattern, right? This person standing like this person wants to do this, person standing like that, he wants to go there. So I develop my gripping strategy based on that alone. And some people might say, yes, this person likes to go in this direction, but what if the person switches? That's okay, right? The key there is to identify which side he prefers. We all are asymmetrical people, or you have a right hand dominant, left hand dominant. People are always going to prefer to, turn to one direction. So once you identify that, you could shut down their dominant side and make them fight to the weak side. Make sense so far? Yes? Not if you get it? Yeah? Okay, good. So I identify that right away, and I always make it my point to put my hand on first. First point of contact is very important. I want to take the initiative. I put the hand on in the most optimal way. You could look at my YouTube videos on grip fighting strategies. And then I want to offload some one-handed judo attacks. If you're right side versus right side, I shut that side down, put the left hand on first, and do sode, taio, ippon seinagi. I stuff the hand, go over the back, maybe go ogoshi, who knows. But I want to put one hand on and unload my one-handed attack series. As I'm doing so, it's going to create an opportunity for me to take the hand over and be 2-on-1 dominant, right? Dominant position, and from there, I look to gather information, right? Because I'm in good position, I can go for a direct attack. I can, right? Just go sort of force it, just go for that, that's fine. but I prefer to show a couple of fakes. Hey, I'm gonna go over here, hey, I'm gonna go over there, so then I could sort of gauge what this person's reaction is gonna be, and then I could attack that reaction, right? Boom, one hand down, dominant position, I fake Osoto, and the person's resisting this way. Okay, he's afraid of my Osoto. I fake Osoto, I go to the side. Something of that nature. Now, I get out there, and let's just say, for instance, there's 10 exchanges in a match. A 5-minute match, there's 10 exchanges. 30-second micro matches, essentially, that happens throughout the thing, and it's unrealistic for me to say, I'm gonna win 10 out of 10 of those exchanges, right? I'm gonna positionally dominate the whole time. It's unrealistic to think that. So what do you do when you're losing in position? And here's the answer to that. You wanna go for strategic bailout attacks. And by bailout attacks, I mean techniques that take you to newaza. A lot of the times, this is like a drop seinagi, tomonage, sumigaesh, that sort of a system. So when I'm getting out grip to the right, if I just stand there, I'm gonna get launched, right? The person's strong, statistically likelihood of taking me off my feet, so I wanna bring the match to the floor. Right side dominant, hand comes over the back, tomonage, I force newaza, try to look to crank on an arm, the person says, oh man, this guy's newaza is pretty good, right? I gotta be careful. Next exchange, I get out gripped again. If I go for the same tomonage, he's anticipating right into the over-under pass. Not so good for me. So I wanna change my bailout attacks every time, right? First time I get overhand, drop seinagi. Second time I get overhand, tomonage. Force newaza attacking, so the person says, oh man, this guy's pretty good at newaza. I can't be going for bad attacks either. Because if he goes for bad attacks, we transition to newaza. So now, when I'm in right side dominant position, when I'm winning position, that person is less likely to do a bad drop technique to go to newaza because he fears my newaza, right? So that is a huge, huge advantage, which means you cannot neglect your newaza. You have to have good newaza, right? You have to be good on your feet, and you have to be good on the ground, and they have to work together to make your overall judo package amazing, right? So there you have it. That's sort of your general strategical game plan. Go out there, recognize their stance and their pattern to shut down their dominant side. Grip fight, attack with one hand. Right? Use your one-handed attack sequences in order to throw them or to gain even better position. Once you have two-hand dominant, you want to set up your attacks, whether it's fakes or creating an angle or making the person react so you can attack that reaction. Right? On the contrary, on the exchanges where you do lose position, you want to strategically go for bailout attacks. Okay? Whether it's tomonage, sumi, drop seinagi, but you want to vary those attacks so the person cannot recognize and predict what your bailout attacks are going to be. The last piece of the puzzle is counters. If you're in dominant position and the person goes for a bad attack, counter it, okay? The likelihood of the person throwing you when they're losing in position is not very good. So that's how you would look for counters. What happens a lot to beginners, they say, hey man, I really like this osotogari counter. I'm gonna go for an osotogari counter. Waiting for the osotogari, but they're in losing position and then they get taken right off their feet, right? The time to look for counters is when you're in good position. Because you know whatever attack that they're going to do, it's not going to be very powerful, right? And so that is the overall general judo match strategy.